comes in to play as being hard, because it takes effort. It takes effort and devotion to know yourself, know every aspect of you enough to control you when you become emotionally led. Is it your significant other responsibility to not feed your insecurities, but actually strengthen all your doubts and your fears? It's not their responsibility. And in consideration, can they do it? Sure. But it's not their responsibility. They can take on the effort after hearing certain thoughts and past experiences and choose to say, okay, I know this is a touchy area. Let me be more accountable in this area to secure our relationship so he doesn't or she doesn't harp on her insecurities as much. You don't have to, but if you choose to, it's out of consideration and love. It's out of devotion and effort. And so that's why being faithful is hard, because you don't have to do any of these things. But if you love and understand your significant other, you will take the extra effort and devotion to tend to them. Being faithful is a job. Then, on another note, when it comes to social media and your insecurities, you have to understand certain things. Things are not as black and white as you may make them. Because someone leaves a heart under a picture, or someone or your significant other leaves a heart under someone else's picture, it doesn't mean that they love that person or love that picture. The heart is actually a feature on social media to say you like something. You have to remain present in the moment and not feed. You have to remain present in the moment. And I have to say that again. You have to remain present in the moment so you not feed into a false reality. Perception is a hell of a thing, to the point that you could put so much emotion behind what you perceive to be real that you forget reality itself. And even that takes effort. It takes effort to not feed yourself a false reality based on what you perceive. Social media gives so many people so much unnecessary information. And as much as people share thoughts and information, there's still way less, not just, I'm just shooting in the dark with this theory. Statistically, they have shown people to be less close, less intimate with one another because of the digital world. Like I said in a previous episode, you cannot confuse information with intimacy. And just because people see each other on a regular basis on social media, that does not mean they know one another. Knowing takes a level of dwelling with that person. And so, tear down those structures that you make up in your head to have yourself believe, well, since they're on social media all the time and they're getting real close to everybody on social media, I need to, in real life, start getting close to people. Whew. Catch yourself. That it gets real crazy in the emotional world that you spin up in your head. You'll have yourself just like the movies Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise, basically convincing yourself to go. And even part of your actions is based on your theory of self-preservation. So to not be hurt to the extent that you imagine yourself hurt, let me weirdly, and I say it's weirdly because it's really weird, that you make the decision to say, let me basically preserve myself by acting very flirtatious with other women and opening my options up because I don't know for certain. The only way you know for certain if your spouse or a significant other is faithful is by dwelling with them and understanding their reactions and their responses to certain things. And when things look a little shaky or iffy or they switch up, then you can even question. But don't make constructs in your head that have you operating in such a way that the very thing you want, which is a loving relationship, you push away from yourself. Be careful. Be careful. I can't say that enough. Faithfulness is hard, but it's not impossible. It takes effort. Can people be faithful in 2018? Sure. Do they have to shut down everything to be faithful? No. Everything in moderation is good. Anything in excess is a liability. Let me say that again. Everything in moderation is good. Anything in excess is a liability. It's going to cost you a lot more. So you on social media and you might be thinking, well, I'm not really close to anybody. But what happens is you spend 1, 2, 3, 4 hours on social media. Your significant other is right in the same house as you, but you're not asking how their day was, how they feel, do they need a massage? Let's eat cookies together. Let's watch a movie together. It becomes a learned behavior to log on instead of connect in with your significant other. And what happens out of vulnerability, because the other partner might very well not be into social media, but they might be more compelled because they see the hours that you devote on it, and things get lost in translation. And before you know it, y'all not as close as y'all used to be. Y'all don't do as much. And he or she is saying, well, you on social media as much. And he or she is saying, well, I think it's fine to be on social media for a certain period of time. But one thing, when you bring something to the table, you can't control what people do in excess. So what one person can handle and be on it for an hour, the other person might be on it for 3 hours. And you have to consider that. Like, well, I brought this into our relationship. We posting every time we go on a trip. But now your partner is posting everything from the time y'all get up to what you eat. Everything. And you get confused and even upset. Because you're, in your mind, you're saying you're sharing everything with everybody. Some things should be left between us. And in their eyes, when you was posting trips, they felt the same way. Things get lost in translation. Faithfulness takes work. Is it hard? Hell yeah. It's a lot more to consider in 2018 than it was to consider in the 1800s. And it still took work then, but it's way more variables that come into play now. Is faithfulness hard work? Yes, it is. It's not impossible, though. So I want to encourage you. I might make this a 3-part series based on the inboxes and the questions, based on what's laid on my heart. But this concludes, is faithfulness hard? It is, but it's not impossible. This is ER, Emotional Response Podcast. Inbox me, text me, email me, reach out to me. I do have a caseload, but through my passion, I always make time for another appointment. I have people in different parts of the world, in different time zones, guys and girls, all different races. So don't hesitate to think, well, I can't reach out to her. The initial consultation will determine if it's a good fit. But you got to step out there. Therapy, life coaching is healthy. It only adds to your greatness. It only pushes you to fulfilling and living to your fullest of potential. It's not for someone that put a microscope on your life and make you feel little. It's to expound your inner being. Not expound, expand your inner being so you can be greater. Greater in your private life, greater in your career, greater in your social life. But you have to be willing to take the steps. Tune in next time as